MIBs. Here come the MIBs.
Here come the men in black. They won't let children play.
The good guys dress in black, remember that, just in case we ever face to face and make contact. The title held by me, MIB, means what you think you saw, you didn't.
Could you tell us a little bit about what a brother is and how it's different than being a priest?
Okay, a priest is a man that is ordained to administer the sacraments. That's essentially what priests do. They say Mass, they administer the rite of reconciliation, they are present for the administration of the sacrament of the sick, and so forth. And so that essentially their role is very much a sacramental role. Brothers I do not administer any sacraments at all. I'm not ordained. I take vows, poverty, chastity, obedience, and I live with a community of men, and we do certain works. We have a regular prayer life, and we have a spiritual life that is paramount in our lives, but we generally focus on particular works for the church. In our case, my congregation's been education.
We do a combination of many things. Administratively, you have a lot of decisions to make here at this parish in regard to, we're the second largest church in the state of North Carolina. Wow. So we have a lot going on here with our school and our different programs and all that happening in that, and I sort of touch base with each of those. I'm like a great big cheerleader around here, seeing that things happen. And then, and the Mass is the center of the day. You usually celebrate the Mass or con-celebrate Mass every morning, and then, but it goes on right in, you never know what's happening. You go to the hospital, you're maybe at a ball game later in the day. It's one thing or another, but it's all different, and it's all has to do with people and working with them to just to let them see the love of God.
A typical day. Actually, I usually start my day pretty much the same way, with prayer.
So what is a typical day like? Okay. As far as the involvement with the students, primarily to reach out to their needs, and it's a lot different than a parish life, as I'm finding out. The students have a whole set of different issues, more centered on their college life and what kind of dreams they have. And I'm trying to give them a Catholic perspective of where are they in their own faith journey, and how does God impact their college life. In grade school or with middle school, students have their parents to turn to. Here, their parents are removed. And so they don't have the support of a family. And yet we try to provide a family atmosphere here so that they feel comfortable enough to ask the questions about their faith or anything. And we try to provide that here at NC State.
What do you think about the deacon?
Oh, I think it's a very important role. Our deacons here at St. Michael's help us tremendously. The role of a deacon has several aspects to it. They can assist at Mass, which they do at St. Michael's. At some churches, the deacons will preach fairly regularly. Now, I know at least one of our deacons has preached, but rarely here at St. Michael's. But the official Catholic Church does give deacons the faculty to preach. So married man who's a deacon can preach at any Sunday Mass. Deacons also do a lot of our baptisms, visit people, they can do funerals.
Could you tell us how you decided to become a brother?
My mother was very religious, so I grew up going regularly to church. I went to a Catholic school. I went to Catholic high school where our brothers taught. And at that time, I started thinking about being a brother. And when I graduated, I went on to college. And the thought just kept on coming back again and again, and then it started to get stronger. And so finally I started praying about it. And I had when I was praying one day, actually my senior year, I was saying, I got to make up my mind about this thing, what direction I'm going. And I was praying. I said, I got to get an answer. It was like somebody yelled in my ear, "Be a brother."
How did you ever decide to first become a priest?
Probably like a lot of priests, I first had my notions when I was in grade school. I went to Catholic school all my life, grade school, high school, and college.
Wow.
But the teachers, both priests and nuns or sisters, have always been an influence on me. When I was an altar boy or server, then I had notions of becoming a priest. But I really put it in the back of my mind for a number of years, including through high school. It wasn't until college, I went to a Jesuit college. Was looking to join the Jesuits at one point, but couldn't make a commitment. But it started to get me thinking about the priesthood more seriously. And then the priest that I was in touch with kind of gave me, you know, not just what Jesuits do, but what priests in general do. And I thought, oh, I never knew that. So I looked into more of the diocesan life. But I didn't, even then, I didn't make a commitment right out of college. I worked for about 5 years. I went ahead and got my degree in accounting.
As you were growing up, how did you decide to become a priest?
Well, I don't know if like anyone decides to become a priest as much as God decides for you and lets you know, in a way. But it did enter my mind from when I was an elementary school kid. My father and mother were very involved in the church, and my dad was good friends with the priests of our parish. And they would often come over to our house just to socialize with my parents. And I remember playing ping pong with my dad and with the priests when I was a kid. They just seemed like really nice guys. And obviously something was different about them. And you know, in the mind of a kid, I thought, well, I think I would like to be one of those guys someday. But when I started growing up, getting older and everything, and then eventually going to college and getting interested in girls and having a girlfriend and things like that, thinking that I wanted to get married, it kind of was definitely on the back burner. But it never totally went away, the idea that maybe God was calling me to be a priest. And it kept coming back, and I was, probably the key time was when I was in graduate school and college, and I got real involved in the church there at college. They called it the Newman Center. And a lot of people were saying, you know, you would be a great priest, and I just really enjoyed leading retreats and helping out with the activities of the church, and I just started praying about it. More and more I hear God's voice calling me to do that, so I applied to the diocese.
How did you decide to become a priest?
Well, it was a long process in a way. It started when I was back in grade school. I was thinking about different careers and things like that. And one of the interesting things that I thought about was business and law and all those sort of things. But also I had a great love for the church. We had a super priest in our parish back in Greensboro. He was unbelievable guy, and his name was Josh Mundell, and he was just great with the kids, very enthusiastic person, and everybody loved him, came to our homes and just sat around, played tennis. He was just a great guy. So I said, well, maybe I could be like Father Mundell, and then that went on for some time thinking about that, and finally in high school thought about it a little bit, got to college, thought about it a little bit more. And then over a period of years, made a decision after much prayer and and consideration. It didn't come just out of the blue. It was a long, slow process.
What do you like most about being a priest?
Celebrating the liturgy is mine. Both the interaction with the people, the students here, giving the homily, and hopefully teaching them about the faith, reaching out.
What do you like the best about being a priest?
Well, for me, that's a very easy question. I definitely love celebrating Mass. Is my number one thing in my life. I just absolutely think that the celebration of the Holy Eucharist is God's gift to us. It's where we are so blessed to encounter Jesus Christ directly in our lives. I think it's a celebration for the whole community, and I think we should celebrate Mass with joy, not like, oh, I have to go to Mass again.
What do you like most about being a priest?
I think you're with people at the most exciting times of their lives. You're with them at the time their children are born. You're with them when people receive First Eucharist. You're with them at, like so many, in the next 2 weeks or so, when people receive confirmation. You prepare young couples for marriage. You rush to the hospital and somebody is sick and you console them. You hear people's confessions that have been away from the church for a long period of time. You are involved in maybe discernments about where somebody's going to go to college and talk to them about that. You assist people when they're dying, and you assist the family at the time of a death. And it's just, you're at the high points of every person's life. There's the priest some way involved, and especially at our beautiful weddings that we have here, and I enjoy that very much as well.
Back to school, way down inside. Honey, you need it. I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, want a whole lot of love. Want a whole lot of love. Want a whole lot of love. Want a whole lot of love.
This is me in my fantasy life.
Ah.
Holy cow.